There guys, what is happening? My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means I help you feel better and perform better. Today I want to speak about the concept of being in a flow society. What does it mean to be in a flow society? I sometimes look at flow as an acronym, and it's quite fun to do that. So I see flow as the acronym F.L.O.W, Future Leaders of the World. Okay? The "the" is silent. Once we think of pioneers, people who are really trailblazers, or people who are constructing their own path in life, the most unique people on the planet that you have heard about or that you have met, they're probably living in alignment and they are living in their own flow state. I think in one level we have to merge Western productivity with Eastern philosophy. So on one side, we want to be kind of like I was gonna say very geek, kind of like Gary V.
We gotta be precise with the hustle. You know what I mean? Like people aren't hustling enough. We gotta push forward. We gotta innovate at this time. Innovation, but with patience.
When I see being present
To the moment. I love this character. Okay. Essentially, you gotta have a little bit of both. And when you can combine those two personalities, we'll start to create a really amazing flow society. So we want to merge hemispheres first and foremost. The second thing that we want to do is do what we love. You can kind of imagine that now that jobs are sort of declining and that people are starting to realize like, okay, now I really have to double down on my passion because there's no other option out there for me. So it's really important for people to start to reconnect and recognize that there is this new paradigm that we're stepping into. And I think that if we take the good things from Western and Eastern society and we try to fine-tune that within ourselves, we can really get to a place of creating a flow society where we're using a lot more harmony. I think that we want to be serious about being playful.
and this is the paradox.
Right? We want to take being playful seriously.
I'm absolutely serious. I'm serious as hell. Stop laughing.
Like when we were a child, we were at play, but we would take our play very seriously. So as a culture, we want to also start to adopt that. You know, in the American Declaration of Independence, they talk about the pursuit of happiness, right? And so when people hear that and see that, they sort of feel that, okay, that's kind of the government's job to do that. However, the pursuit of happiness is like this internal process, right? So the flow state needs to be sort of tuned in. We need to be able to turn it on within ourselves at our peak potential so that we can give more and we can thrive in a society where people are actually working together and they're not sort of muted or diluted reflections of other people because they're copying or imitating others, or they aren't really truly embodying who they are. So I think authenticity, awareness, and coming from a level of pure honesty with oneself can really help you to accelerate that flow state, because flow is all about acceptance.
Dear Diary, today just went from good to great.
3 things that are fundamental for happiness. 1 is growth, moving towards something. 2nd is this kind of self-awareness or self-knowledge. And 3rd is having a purpose. So if we don't have any of those, it's really kind of difficult to get to that place of happiness. The kind of happiness that I'm talking about is a lot more long-term. It's called eudaimonic happiness, which is what the Greeks used to describe it as. So it's a lot more like working towards something, like creating a network of friends or building your business or building on a relationship. In that aspect, it's like going towards this vision that you have for yourself, and that's that purpose. Giving you that purpose with alignment towards actually enjoying that purpose. We kind of overcomplicate and ask ourselves this existential question of what's the meaning of life?
What do you mean?
But I think it can be put very simply. The meaning of life is whatever is meaningful to you. So you give life meaning. It doesn't necessarily have to have a meaning. You construct that meaning of what it means to you. In the Western world, we sort of see time as this construct in a way that we've split up our work time and leisure time. However, instead of giving ourselves this kind of gap and finding the overlap that our work is actually leisure as well, we can sort of reconstruct what time means to us, enabling us to enhance that flow state. And the way that I also want to think about it is like the selflessness, because we live in such a culture that we constantly think of ourselves, and we're thinking like, what can I do to survive? And how can I be in the spotlight and be like the celebrity? But to live in a flow society, we really have to get towards that selflessness. So meaning we want to create good relationships and care for the people around us. We almost want to be playful interruptions in people's lives that we know. So you want to basically be not confrontational, let's call it carefrontation, okay? So you want to care about the person so much that you confront them that, look, you got to wake up. The way that you're living right now is not serving you, and it's time for you to step up as a leader. It's very different to speak about it, and it's another thing to truly embody it and feel it. So to truly embody it and feel it, we need to also give freely without attachment to the outcome and expectations of us giving so much. The flow state is autotelic, meaning it's a reward by itself. So we give, and that's the reward by itself, is that giving. We feel good just to give. And to get to that, it takes a lot of inner work and practice, but once we can come from that standpoint and see it from that perspective, that I'm not really losing anything, it's everything to gain, nothing to lose, then we truly start to step into this flow society paradigm again. Find out whether the activities that we're doing each day are maintaining our energy, whether they're flow inducing or not, and not be so scared of aging.
I'm over 72 and I feel great.
You'll notice in Eastern cultures they have a different idea of aging, whereas certain Western societies, they have this idea of obsessed with the youth instead of actually being okay in accepting aging and looking at it as something as wisdom and refinement. So instead, I think to create a flow society, we want to really take that from the East, like respecting our elders and learning from mentorship. I think that that is really important in terms of like building a helpful tribe. I'm not saying to go completely with the old ways of thinking and adopting everything that our elders are telling us, but there's definitely an innate reserve and a sense of wisdom that we can learn from others that are older than us and our older generation. So definitely give them the respect that they deserve and be able to really understand that we are here to accomplish things, but we're also here to do it as a community. So that's kind of my take on this, guys. Have an amazing day. I hope you're all doing well wherever it is you're tuning in from. Have an incredible best day of your life, and I'll see you again in another video. May the flow be with you and stay legendary.